Hey there, darlings. Welcome to the Farmer's Table. If you're new here, my name is Jess. I'm so glad that you're here. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm also glad to have you here today, where I am making breakfast on a very chilly winter morning. My family has mercy on me. I don't do well with the cold, and I will do it if I have to, but they have been covering morning chores on these very cold mornings. My husband, Sweet Maya, and my 3 boys are out there doing all the chores. In return, I like to welcome them back into the house with a nice warm breakfast. I've got the kettle on so we can have hot tea when they come back in. And I've got my muffin pan set up. This morning, I'm just gonna make some what we call egg muffins or egg cups. I've showed you guys quiche frittata. This is a super easy way to cook this kind of thing. It obviously is going to cook faster because we have smaller amounts. I like making these because you can make them, and any that don't get eaten you can put in the fridge and then reheat. One thing I like to do for egg cups is, you know, obviously I have my muffin tin. It's not a tin, this is a stoneware muffin pan. I like to use these little silicone liners. These are pretty affordable. I think you can get a 24 pack for roughly $10 to $15, something like that. I'll find a link to them and put it down below. But these are great for baking any kind of muffins because obviously you're not having to continue to buy single-use things. But what I really like about these for making egg cups is that they just reheat well. I can stick them in the microwave, or I can even take these and put them in the air fryer or back in the oven to heat the cups back up if we don't eat them all to begin with. So I've got my pan lined here with 12. The beauty of like anything like quiche or frittata or egg cups to me is that it's a really great way to use what you've got in your fridge. If you are doing a lot of from scratch cooking, you probably don't like to toss out leftovers. I mean, we want to make the most of them, but you don't always have enough of something to make a meal. So like right now I've got a little bit of shredded cheese that was left over from shredding this. I've got a little bit of feta here that's left. Not really enough to do a whole lot with, but something here. I have some leftover ham. I cooked a ham and we ate it for dinner once, but then we've been using it in sandwiches and with biscuits in the morning. You can season these how you want. You can use whatever meat. If you've got some cooked bacon, if you have some lunch meat like deli meat, you could cut that up and put it in here. You don't have to put meat at all. If you are going to put any sort of veggies into quiche, frittata, or egg cups, you do want to make sure if they're fresh that you saute them first to release the liquid, because if you put like a bunch of fresh veggies in these, they're going to get really soupy. It's going to release all the liquid in your eggs and it's not going to turn out right. First we want to put our toppings in. And if, let's say I've got like a little bit of feta like this, I just mostly go through and try to evenly spread it out amongst these. Another really good thing to put in egg cups is if you, let's say you cooked potatoes for dinner, like some sort of fried potatoes or roasted potatoes. If you have any of those left over, you can put a little bit of potato in each one. Honestly, we eat a whole lot of eggs because we have chickens, and it's just something that we typically have abundance of on our farm. And this is just a nice way to mix it up. You could put nothing in these. You could just mix the eggs with the cream and some seasoning and just cook your eggs this way. But I particularly like being able to add these other ingredients to it. All right, so maybe like a tablespoon of feta in each one. Just a tiny bit of cheese. Like literally I'm just gonna put a few bits in each one. I don't like to fill more than about half of the cup with the toppings, with the filling, because you do need about half of the cup to be the egg mixture so that it binds, you know, so it'll all stay together. When I do use things like this ham, I like to make sure I'm shredding it into small amounts just because I want things to be equally distributed throughout the egg, so I don't put any real massive chunks in there. All right, now I'm gonna put just the tiniest sprinkle of red pepper flakes in each one. Again, I mean, whatever seasoning you want. It's nice to put herbs in if you've got fresh herbs. I usually put at least salt and pepper, and then I usually throw something like, these are dried shallots. I'm gonna do a pinch of these. The red pepper flakes are nice, especially if you're using, like this ham has a little bit of a smoky flavor, but it doesn't have a whole lot of seasoning to it. If I'm using something like breakfast sausage that's already pretty well seasoned, I might not add as much extra. But literally what goes into something like this is fully dependent on what I've got thawed out and already cooked. You do want to use already cooked meat. You don't want to put raw meat in here. Okay, so I got the red pepper flakes, some dried shallots, pinch of salt in each one, and a pinch of black pepper. Also, I did not spray these because these silicone things peel away really easily. But if you were cooking directly in a muffin pan, you would want to spray it with something non-stick. Okay, so here's my pan with all of my toppings in it. For the egg mixture, we're going to do a ratio of 6 eggs to 1 cup of milk, half and half, or heavy cream. Obviously, the higher fat content you go, the more rich these are going to be, but it does work just fine with milk. The ratio of what works here is, it's pretty generous. Now, what I do, just because it kind of shakes out differently every time, depending on how much I put in the cups, I just usually mix like 6 eggs at a time, and then if I need more of the egg mixture, I will mix a little bit more. And I know that that is frustrating because it's not just a completely straightforward recipe, but this is just how I cook. So sometimes I think it is beneficial to show you guys the very laid back approach, so you know that the range of acceptable is broad on a lot of things in the kitchen. All right, so a quick beat of those eggs, and I'm going to add a cup. This is more or less like half and half. This is our whole milk with the cream mixed in, plus a little bit of extra cream that I added to that. All right. You don't have to go crazy beating this, but you do want it well incorporated. And then we're just going to pour, not that much. That is not what you want to do. I was watching the camera rather than what was in front of me. So that's gonna be a mess, but it is what it is. All right, let me try this a little slower. Okay, not quite full, little bit of space, because these are going to expand. When I pull them out of the oven, they're gonna be really tall and then they'll fall. All right, so I'm gonna beat, let's see, 2 more eggs with like, I don't know, probably like a 1/4 cup more cream. Maybe a little more than that. Not exact. As you'll see, I poured all of these and then they kind of settle down into the topping. So if you have a little extra egg mixture, you may be able to go back and fill them up just a tiny bit more if you've got any that are looking a little low. I guess I would say we're using 8 eggs and 1 1/4 cup cream mixed together, or half and half or whatever, for a dozen egg cups. But if you were to use more toppings or less toppings, you may have to adjust that some anyway. But that'll be like a good beginning ratio. All right, so my oven's on 375. I'm gonna put these in the oven and I will let you know how long it took. All right, it's been 30 minutes. I just peeked in. I feel like these are ready to come out. I really wasn't even sure the time frame to tell you. I usually just cook things and kind of pay attention to them. The cook time's probably gonna vary based on your oven, based on what pan you're using, how full you make your muffins. But I would probably start checking around the 27 or 28 minute mark. All right, here we go. There's our egg muffins. As you can see, they're kind of poking up out of the cups. They actually will fall a little bit as they cool. All right, I'm gonna get into one of these to show you guys what it looks like. So obviously these are fine by themselves, especially if you're like doing like a low carb thing. But it's also really nice to make these and then have like a fruit salad or something like that. Or if you're doing these for brunch, you could do just like a green salad. As you can see, these pop right out of those silicone liners. Open it up. There is all the lovely cheese, the meat. These honestly probably could have done with a little more seasoning, but it's fine. I usually put hot sauce all over mine anyway, so that's why I don't really care. It's an avenue for hot sauce. But that's it. That's a really great simple breakfast. Lots of nourishment in this and tons of versatility. A great way to use up what's in your fridge and make a quick breakfast. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning. I bless you. Until next time.